Copenhagen, success or failure? Well, let me put it this way. Something is seriously wrong here. An unprecedented number of world leaders came here with an unprecedented mandate, and still they failed to deliver little more than a photo opportunity for themselves.
So the talks have essentially broken down. The past few days have been a mess. The last 2 years have been spent drafting text for the negotiators to handle, to try and get an agreement. Negotiators couldn't agree on text. There's too many disagreements. Ministers and heads of state have come. They've tried to hand the text over to the leaders, but it's not adequate. There's no consensus. No one agrees. And now the heads of state are trying to scavenge something together from what's left over, and it's just been unsuccessful.
What happened is they had a completely failed model going in, which is that they could solve climate change but not change their behavior, that they could fix it all with fancy accounting tricks.
One of the big heroes that's been a feature of these talks the whole time is AOSIS, the small island states, particularly Tuvalu, which has stood up to the big powers, the big companies and the big nations and stayed strong on its continued existence.
I'm sad, but I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful, yeah.
I know they will reach a deal one day. Maybe not now, maybe sometime, but I mean, the important message for us is while they're delaying that, some people are suffering, lives are being lost, villages are being lost, and problems are rising.
Some of the messages have been getting through to negotiators. Just today we gave them a mobile phone and we got Australians back home to SMS in messages of hope and actually asking, demanding the Australian negotiating team to push away from a collapse, because our government has the power, has had the power to push further in this. We didn't move to our unconditional 25% target. We didn't put financing on the table. There were a number of things we could have done that could have progressed these talks, which we just didn't do. The domestic political context is really scaring our government and our negotiating team. They do respond to the domestic political context. And some of the negotiators said to me off the record, everyone in Australia wanted action on climate change. The Australian government would do more, but they can't. There's an election coming next year. This will be an election issue, and it's a tough place to be.
If we think about building a mass movement with real power around the world, we haven't even begun to do that. We've only just started. We got the tiniest taste of it, and you know, I think we can grow that so much, because it is something really new and exciting.
The good news is it's not too late to turn all of this around. We know from your activities and the actions of millions more like you around the world that it is possible to get our message through directly to these decision makers. No one would be able to suggest that our Australian delegation, nor Kevin Rudd, nor Penny Wong, would be under any illusion about Australian support for a fair, ambitious and binding treaty. Your faxes have been spewing out paper so fast and so constantly that the Australian Embassy here has had to install a second fax machine. Your phone calls to the Prime Minister have been ringing off the hook so much that we've exhausted their voicemail capacity here. Your SMSs are ringing off the hook on a phone we've got in the Australian delegation's office, and your pictures are hanging on a photo frame in Kevin Rudd's office here. Let's keep all of this inspiring momentum we've got going. Let's keep it going and keep working until we get the good outcome that the world needs.